CDL Practice Test, Florida, General Knowledge, Part 6. Question number 125. What should the wheel bearing seals be checked for? A. Cleanliness. B. The color of paint used on the cover. C. The hub oil level and possible leaks. The correct answer is here, C. The hub oil level and possible leaks. Explanation. It can be unsafe to drive with a damaged wheel bearing. Therefore, inspect each wheel bearing for leaks that can allow grease to seep out or dirty water to seep in. The wheel bearing is located behind the wheel. Check for grease on the wheel and any other evidence of cracks or leaks in the wheel bearing. Question number 126. In the event of a fire that occurs while you are transporting goods, what would be the first thing you would do? A. Keep the fire from spreading. B. Call for help. C. Extinguish the fire. D. Pull off the road. The correct answer is here, D. Pull off the road. Explanation. In the event of a fire, you should try and pull off the road in an open area, not near any vehicles, trees, vegetation, and definitely not at a service station. You would then call the police or other authorities to alert them of your problem. Keep the fire from spreading, and extinguish the fire. Question number 127. What does communicating mean in safe driving? A. Driving brightly colored vehicles. B. Using hand signals. C. Letting other drivers know you're there. The correct answer is here, C. Letting other drivers know you're there. Explanation. Other drivers may not always notice you even if you're driving a big vehicle in plain sight. Before passing another vehicle, communicate your presence by tapping your horn lightly or flashing your headlights. In bad weather in the daytime, turn on your headlights to make your vehicle more visible to other road users. Question number 128. Implied consent means that when you operate a CMV on public roads, you A. Consent to have your vehicle inspected for alcohol. B. Consent to be tested for alcohol in your blood. C. Understand that you may now drink alcohol before driving. The correct answer is here, B. Consent to be tested for alcohol in your blood. Explanation. When you operate a CMV on public roads, you imply consent to be tested for blood alcohol concentration. Back, upon the request of law enforcement, if you are convicted of refusing to be tested, you will lose your CDL for at least 1 year if this was your first offense. 49 CFR 391.15. Question number 129. Which of these statements about vehicle fires is true? A. If your engine is on fire, open the hood as soon as you can. B. If the cargo or box trailer catches fire, open the doors as soon as you can. C. A burning tire should be cooled with water. The correct answer is here, C. A burning tire should be cooled with water. Explanation. If the cargo is on fire, opening the trailer's doors will let more oxygen into the trailer and feed the fire. If a tire is on fire, it should be cooled, preferably with a lot of water. Question number 130. If you do not have a CB radio, what is the first thing you should do at an accident scene? A. Clear the area. B. Protect the accident scene. C. Flag down help. The correct answer here. B. Protect the accident scene. Explanation. At an accident scene, first protect the accident scene to help prevent another accident. Pull your vehicle as far away from traffic and as close to the side of the road as possible. Set out warning devices such as reflective triangles. Question number 131. When you are passing another vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, you should assume that they A. will move out of your lane of traffic, B. C. may move into your traffic lane. The correct answer is here. C. May move into your traffic lane. Explanation. When passing another vehicle, pedestrian, or bicyclist, assume that they have not seen you and might move into your way. Communicate your presence to them and proceed with caution. Question number 132. It is important to shift gears correctly to keep A. the engine warm, B. control of the vehicle, C. the engine oil flowing. The correct answer is here. B. Control of the vehicle. Explanation. For full control of your vehicle, you need to know when and how to upshift or downshift. Learn under what special conditions you should downshift. For example, learn how to use engine braking to slow your vehicle on a steep descent. Question number 133. What should you do if your vehicle hydroplanes? A. Accelerate slightly. B. Countersteer hard. C. Release the accelerator. The correct answer is here. C. Release the accelerator. Explanation. Hydroplaning is more likely at higher speeds. If your vehicle starts to hydroplane, avoid braking. Instead, release the accelerator and push in the clutch to let your vehicle slow down. Question number 135. Which of these is a good rule to follow when steering to avoid a crash? A. Apply the brakes while turning. B. Steer with one hand so that you can turn the wheel more quickly. C. Don't turn any more than is needed to clear what is in your way. The correct answer is here. C. Don't turn any more than is needed to clear what is in your way. Explanation. Do not turn any more than needed to clear whatever is in your way. The more sharply you turn, the greater the chances of a skid or rollover. Question number 136. According to the driver's manual, why should you limit the use of your horn? A. The horn is not a good way to let others know you're there. B. It wears down the battery. C. It can startle other drivers. The correct answer is here. C. It can startle other drivers. Explanation. Your horn can startle other drivers, pedestrians, or animals. Hence, it should only be used to warn others of a potential hazard, not for general communication and certainly not to express anger or frustration. Question number 137. Which of these statements about managing space to the sides is true? A. Always keep your vehicle to the right side of your lane. B. Strong winds make it easy to stay in your lane. C. You should avoid traveling next to others when possible. The correct answer is C. You should avoid traveling next to others when possible. Explanation. Whenever another vehicle is traveling right next to yours, there's always a chance that the vehicle might try to move into your lane and accidentally hit your vehicle. Also, the vehicle is blocking you from changing lanes. It's safer to find an open spot where there are no vehicles on either side of you. Of course, that may not be possible in heavy, congested traffic. Question number 138. What are the regulations on the height of splash guards, mud flaps? A. They must be no more than 15 inches above the ground when the vehicle is completely unloaded. B. They must be no more than 8 inches above the ground when the vehicle is fully loaded. C. It depends on the state. The correct answer is C. It depends on the state. Explanation. Currently, there are no federal regulations governing the height of splash guards, mud flaps. Each state is free to issue its own regulations, and those regulations vary from one state to another. To find out about your state's regulations, check with your state's transportation department. However, you should check that any mud flaps that are installed on your vehicle are securely mounted and in good condition. Question number 139. The Commercial Driver's Handbook suggests several things to do when you pass a vehicle. Which of these is not one of them? A. At night, flash your lights from low to high beam and back while you pass the vehicle. B. Constantly blow your horn while passing the vehicle. C. Assume the other driver does not see you. The correct answer is B. Constantly blow your horn while passing the vehicle. Explanation. Allow for the possibility that the driver of the vehicle that you wish to pass doesn't know you're there. Make your presence known to the driver. In daytime, tap your horn very lightly. At night, briefly flash your headlights. However, sound a sharp blast on your horn only as a warning to others of danger. Question number 140. The purpose of retarders is to A. Apply extra braking power to the non-drive axles. B. Help prevent skids and reduce brake wear. C. Help slow the vehicle while driving and reduce brake wear. The correct answer is C. Help slow the vehicle while driving and reduce brake wear. Explanation. Retarders can be used to help slow a vehicle, reducing the need for braking and thus reducing brake wear. However, retarders should not be used on slippery roads because the retarders can cause the drive wheels to skid. Question number 141. Some traffic emergencies may require you to leave the road. Which of these is a good thing to remember? A. Brake gently to avoid skidding. B. Use hard braking if you are moving at a speed greater than 20 mph. C. Most shoulders will not support a large vehicle. D. If you must leave the road, try to get all wheels off the pavement or at least one side of vehicle's tires off the road. The correct answer is D. If you must leave the road, Try to get all wheels off the pavement or at least one side of vehicle's tires off the road. Explanation. In some emergencies, you may have to drive off the road. It may be less risky than facing a collision with another vehicle. Most shoulders are strong enough to support the weight of a large vehicle and, therefore, offer an available escape route. Question number 142. You are driving on a 2-lane road. An oncoming vehicle drifts into your lane and is headed straight for you. Which of the following should you do? A. Brake hard. B. Prepare for impact. C. Steer to the right. The correct answer is here. C. Steer to the right. Explanation. Hard braking can cause a skid. Instead, if an oncoming vehicle drifts into your lane, steer right toward the shoulder or curb. Do not steer left. The other driver may try to steer back into the proper lane. Prepare to drive entirely off the roadway to the right if necessary to avoid a head-on collision. Question number 143. Which of these tells you that cargo contains hazardous materials? A. A hazardous materials placard is on the vehicle. B. There is a 4-inch, diamond-shaped hazardous materials label on the container. C. Both of these answers are correct. The correct answer is here. C. Both of these answers are correct. Explanation. Federal regulations require shippers to warn drivers and others about the nature of the hazardous materials they are shipping. The shipper affixes US.compliant hazmat labels to the packages and supplies the driver with the appropriate placards to attach to his or her vehicle. The shipper also notes the hazardous nature of the materials on the shipping papers. 49 CFR 172.400, 49 CFR 172.407. Question number 144. Which of these statements about overhead clearance is true? A. If the road surface causes your vehicle to tilt toward objects at the edge of the road, you should drive close to the shoulder. B. You should assume that the posted clearance signs are correct. C. The weight of a vehicle changes its height. The correct answer is here. C. The weight of a vehicle changes its height. Explanation. Your truck's height will vary depending on how much weight you're hauling. An empty or lightly loaded vehicle will ride higher than one that is weighed down with heavy cargo. Don't put all your trust in posted road clearance signs. The height of the roadway may have changed since the sign was posted. Question number 145. Why should you be in the proper gear before starting down a hill? A. The clutch is made to be used on even surfaces. B. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear once you are going down a hill. C. You need to be in the same gear at the bottom of the hill. The correct answer is here. B. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear once you are going down a hill. Explanation. When you're about to start down a steep downgrade, release the gas pedal, shift into a low gear, and use engine braking to slow your vehicle. Don't try to downshift after your speed has already built up. You will not be able to shift into a lower gear then. You may not even be able to get back into any gear and all engine braking effect will be lost. If you try to downshift an automatic transmission after your speed has already built up, you may damage the transmission. Question number 146. As the blood alcohol concentration or BAC goes up, what will happen? A. The drinker clearly sees how alcohol is affecting them. B. The effects of alcohol decreases. C. The drinker can sober up in less time. D. The person becomes more dangerous if allowed to drive. The correct answer is here. D. The person becomes more dangerous if allowed to drive. Explanation. Accident statistics show that the chance of a crash is much greater for drivers who have been drinking than for drivers who have not. Question number 147. A car suddenly cuts in front of you, creating a hazard. What should you not do? A. Signal and change lanes to avoid the car if possible. B. Slow down to prevent a crash. C. Honk and stay close behind the car. The correct answer is here. C. Honk and stay close behind the car. Explanation. Always maintain a safe following distance behind the vehicle in front of you. If another vehicle suddenly cuts in front of you, either slow down or change lanes to maintain a safe following distance. Tailgating another vehicle is dangerous. For a CMV driver, federal regulations consider tailgating a serious violation. You will lose your CDL for at least 60 days if you are convicted of 2 serious violations involving a CMV within a 3-year period. 49 CFR 383.51. Question number 148. What is the best hand position when driving? A. 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock. B. 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. C. Whatever feels most natural to the driver. D. 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. The correct answer is here. D. 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Explanation. Although the old recommendation for hand placement was 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, AAA and other experts now recommend that hands be placed in the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions. This is because the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock positions put the hands directly in the path of air bag deployment should an accident occur, which may result in an injury.